DeMarcus Lawrence just got paid. The Cowboys agreed to a 5-year, $105 million extension with the defensive end over the weekend. Lawrence was signed to the franchise tag before free agency started, but he was able to agree to a long-term deal. He has 25 sacks in the last 2 seasons for Dallas. So, Shannon, I will start with you.
Yes.
Who won the negotiations, Lawrence or the Cowboys?
Well, Lawrence, because he really didn't have any leverage, Skip, for the simple fact they franchised him. And so his only leverage that he had to get a long-term deal was hold out and threaten to sit out and push the surgery that he needed for the torn labrum to push it back. And the Cowboys were up against it because they had to get, because if he's like, well, I'm not having the surgery until June, now that lingers into it. Now, how healthy is he going to be for training camp? How healthy is he going to be to start the season?
Well, that's leverage to me.
Yeah.
If you want to hold that over the team's head?
Right. And that's what I'm saying, though, but Skip.
Right.
Had he been free, could he have gotten more money? Sure, absolutely could. But he had to play hardball. He played hardball. He got $48 million fully guaranteed. 25 to sign, all of 19 salary, and all of 2020 fully guaranteed. Oh, he won out. But the Cowboys won too, Skip. They drafted this guy. When you draft a guy, you're like, man, I sure hope this guy pans out. He panned out and then some. Now you get an opportunity to keep him. But just before you go, pounding your chest and feeling good about yourself, that don't mean nothing. I'm just letting you know before you start. Doesn't mean anything. They can sign Zeke, they can sign Dak, they can sign Amari Cooper, and they can sign Byron Jones. It doesn't mean anything because the NFC teams are not going to say, you know what? The Cowboys signed all their young talent. Guys, let's just step aside. Let them go to Miami and represent the NFC in Super Bowl 54. That ain't happening. You're not going, but D-Law won.
D-Law won.
What do you think?
D-Law? I've never heard D-Law before. Who is D-Law?
New guy.
DeMarcus
I hope I don't knock my microphone off here, but I'm going to pound my chest.
Oh, you pounding your chest.
Really?
You feeling
Tarzan.
good. You feeling good, huh?
I'm going Tarzan.
Okay, Tarzan.
I liked that.
We won. The Cowboys won because even though I'm going to give this a win-win situation on both sides, but the Cowboys, the management, especially Stephen Jones, Todd Archer reported that he was able to make a phone call, last-second phone call, straight to the player. And you know that it's really kind of not kosher. It's kind of against the unwritten rules that you do that.
You negotiate with the agent.
If I were the agent, I would not allow that.
Right.
But something that Stephen Jones said to DeMarcus Lawrence, probably about winning multiple Super Bowls with this group, made him sit back and say, because remember, he was beating his chest about wanting $100 million guaranteed. He took a grand total of $65 million.
He was never getting $100 million guaranteed. He wasn't getting more than Khalil Mack and Aaron Donald and Von Miller. That was never going to happen.
He has the 4th most guaranteed money.
Yes.
And Khalil Mack's got 90 to his 65. Aaron Donald, 87 to his 65. Von Miller, 70 to his 65. And that's an old contract.
That's in 2016, right.
Okay. So I'm good with that because that's about what he was worth.
Yes.
Because if you look at what happened, 2 years ago, he had 14.5 sacks. That tied for 2nd in the NFL with Calais Campbell, a couple short of Chandler Jones. Okay, so now you're saying big time, right? But last year, as the pressure mounted for him to get his big new contract, he had a grand total of 10.5 sacks, but worse, he had 5.5 of those in the first 4 games. So 5.5 of 10.5 came in the first 4 games. And then what happened over the last 12 games? Not a lot.
Well, it's sliding protection because Randy Gregory was going through what he was going through, Skip. David Irving.
Pretty good.
David Irving didn't come. Remember, they were expecting David Irving to come back and fill a role, and that never materialized.
Okay. I am not the biggest DeMarcus Lawrence fan. I'm happy he got this much, but I would have been very unhappy if he'd gotten any $100 million. If they had just broken the bank and said, we've got to do everything in our power to keep him as a Dallas Cowboy. Well, look what happened in the playoffs against Seattle. He had 0 sacks. He had 6 tackles and a couple run stuffs, which is good. But against the Los Angeles Rams, he had 0 sacks and 3 total tackles. What do they always rave about DeMarcus Lawrence for? Why does Rod Marinelli call him the best defensive end in pro football? Because he can rush the passer and he can play the run.
Right.
Well, guess what happened that fateful night? You were there, Jenny, at the Coliseum right here in Los Angeles.
Watching.
Well, he played the run.
The Rams ran for 273 yards. They ran for 170 in the first half. Where was DeMarcus Lawrence? Where was number 90? Where was
Skip,
he?
I'm not going to let you do
Look,
that.
did you see that number?
Hold on, I'm not going to let you do that. Where was the Wolf Hunter? Where was Jalen Smith?
What's the first line of defense? I think it might be the big bad defense.
Well, they wasn't running to his side.
Oh, maybe.
They were coming downhill to the linebacker.
Well, they were running
and he,
downhill. Jeff Heath was on his back the whole night.
well, he getting by the Wolf Hunter. So what do you expect? If he running over the Wolf Hunter,
Wolf Hunter had an upset stomach.
you know,
I don't know.
if he run over the Wolf Hunter, what is he going to do to the Cub Hunter?
I don't
which
know.
is Jeff Heath.
I don't
But Skip,
know.
this look. He was never going to get $100 million guaranteed in no circles. Even Steven and Jerry Jones will tell you he's not better than the three guys that got more guaranteed money at the defensive line position, even though...
Well, try telling DeMarcus Lawrence that.
You ain't got to tell it.
Yeah.
All you got to do, one of those guys is a Super Bowl MVP, one of those guys is a two-time Defensive Player of the Year, and the other guy's a Defensive Player of the Year. And there's been an All-Pro at two different positions in the same season. Now, which one of these guys, D-Law, are you better than?
Well, come on. What do you think he thinks? It's not a matter. He would tell you, yeah, I'm better than those guys.
At what?
Maybe not on a lie detector.
Oh, then they say, okay, at what? What are you better than the man? Because one guy not only wrecked the shot. Did you see him in Super Bowl 50, Von Miller? Did you see what he did?
Yep.
Did you see Aaron Donald have the most sacks for an interior D lineman in NFL history? This is the 100-year anniversary for the NFL. So no D lineman has had interior D lineman. And did you see Khalil Mack? Khalil Mack has been an All-Pro at two different positions in the same season.
Okay.
Now, again, I'm going to ask you again, D-Law, which one you better than? Oh, okay. Well, here's $65 million.
So last year, if you look at Pro Football Focus, DeMarcus Lawrence graded out as the 7th best defensive end in pro football. Calais, J.J. Watt, Trey Flowers, and then we get down to Cam Jordan. So to me, so he got what he deserved.
Yeah.
It's like a fair...
But remember, Skip, free agency is not about being good. It's about being free. Nobody's taking DeMarcus Lawrence over J.J. Watt. They're not.
The timing.
But J.J. Watt's in the contract for another year or two. DeMarcus Lawrence isn't. Aaron Donald, Von Miller, these guys, they're under contract. DeMarcus Lawrence isn't. So you kind of and granted, they franchised him, and he said, I'd rather have $48 million guaranteed over 2 years as opposed to playing under the franchise tag at $20 million. And I don't know what's going to happen in 20. Skip, you're an injury away from not only being out of the league, but definitely not getting no $20 million the following season. So that was a very good deal. $48 million fully guaranteed, and he's in Texas with no state tax. It's hard to beat that. You can't beat that with a stick.
So Stephen Jones brought another one home. Way to go, Stephen.
Hey,
love that.
But if I'm the agent, I'm gonna say, Stephen Jones, you need to cut me something. You need to cut me, give me about $3-4 million, because you know why? You called my client. That's illegal, Skip Bayless.
I wonder what he said. He said Super Bowls were mentioned.
He probably
most
said
likely?
no. I don't know what he said, but I know Stephen well enough. He'd say, look, you need to let us go ahead and get Dak re-signed and Zeke re-signed.
They ain't got nothing to do with me.
Amari re-signed.
I want a boat like Jerry.
Together, we can all win Super Bowls.
I tell you what I do.
That's what he told me.
I tell you what I do, Stephen.
Yeah.
We'll keep this under the table. You go ahead and give me this little contract.
Yep.
But I want a boat, and I want a couple of cars, and I want a mansion.
Maybe.
Yep.
Like a yacht boat or just a boat?
I want one of them old Chris crap.
Okay.
Oh.
One of them old
Maybe.
Chris. One of them old Chris.
You realize that's extremely illegal, what you just suggested?
I don't care. It's illegal that Stephen Jones called my client direct.
If caught, this is how you lose your first-round pick.
Yeah, I don't
You're
think
gonna lose a lot more than
Cap
violation. Somehow
you're gonna
I
lose
feel
a
like
lot
you
more
don't
than
get away with
first-round
that.
picks, Skip Bayless.
Okay, well, I'm just
if you
saying.
do it this egregious. But he called that man. That's got, you know what? NFLPA, you got to stop this. You cannot have employers
Well, I'm sure
circumventing.
he agreed to it.
I
He
don't
wouldn't have taken the call.
No.
Yep.
That's unacceptable. That's what I have an agent for. Because I don't need you to tell me how bad I am, because that's what they do. They tell you, well, you know what, Shannon, D-Law, he not the same. Because they say just what Skip said. You remember 2 years ago, he had 14 and a half. He was second.
Yeah.
Last year, he had 10 and a half, and he had the first 5 and a half in the first 4 games. He kind of slowing down. No, I don't need to hear that. That was my agent for.
That's the whole point of the agent.
That's the whole
Not
point
hear
of it.
those
Yeah, exactly. Skip, you know it. You know he's wrong, too.
I love it.
and I see you brought your cowboy suit, they might have brought that suit for you. Hey, yeah, they might have.
I don't get even Christmas decorations from them.
I don't get into it.
Yeah, you
ever
used
since
to.
I used to, but ever since I started working with you, the Christmas gifts and decorations have disappeared.
Yep.
Really? They just lost them?
Yes.
New address.
Jay, I still like you. I think Jerry Jones the best owner in NFL football.
You just want to
Mine
get
is
an
Mr.
invite
B.
to the yacht. That's what you're trying to do.
Now you're trying to make sure you don't offend.
Stop. Okay, we're going to move on because LeBron, he keeps using the injury.
Stop saying use the
He
excuse,
keeps
Jen.
He's
using
been
the
using it,
excuse. Way to
Shannon.
go.
Offer
Chris
an
Broussard
explanation.
is going to help us tackle that question next.
He's offering an explanation.
And I won't back down. Get ready to roll with the PBA playoffs on FS1's Knockdown Mondays.